welcome to the Internal Energies Presents Conversations on Consciousness with me, Minette, the Internal Energist. This is a show that I like to develop with and have with amazing beings that kind of contributes to higher vibrations and what else is possible in your life, you know, to start creating the reality you truly desire rather than being stuck in the resistance of this one. So you can start to create, you know, more possibilities, more ease, more joy in your life. And a lot of the amazing guests I have on are people that are actually doing this and utilizing tools to create the lives they truly desire. So with me today is Gina Perro, an amazing friend of mine. She's a public speaker, she's a professional dancer, she's a life coach, entrepreneur, amazing creatress of magnitude. So I'm so honored to have you here with me today.
Thank you, Minette. It's a pleasure.
You know, and I'm so lucky and blessed to count her as a friend too.
Ditto.
Because to get to play with amazing beings like that is so amazing, so creative. The spaces we get into when we're together and just the flow. We got to get together last night with a bunch of women entrepreneurs and we're all friends, and the space that it creates is so beautiful. It's just a space of no judgment, of just everybody contributing to the energy of creation in each other's lives. So.
And loving and accepting each other as they are, for what they are and what they do.
Yes, exactly. I would say those are the real friends, the ones that love you for the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, just as you are.
Yes, please.
Yes, more of that. So Gina's got all kinds of amazing programs coming up this year, and you know, in her professional dance career, you know, that's amazing. That's a really can take a toll on your body, which I know you're well aware. So tell me a little bit about, you know, what event allowed you to step into where you're at now.
The event took place in 2009. Minette, I was traveling with the Radio City Rockettes, and I was knocked out backstage, kind of boom, undercut. And I had an unconscious concussion, and it was my awakening to consciousness, because at the time I was unconsciously living. I was living under the, shall I say, the Santa Claus outfit, the lipstick, the lashes, the makeup, the fame, the fortune. So the ego was running my life, and my soul was a little lost at the time. So although I underwent a brain injury, I had to go back to remedial math, and I was unable to tell you what was right and left. And I also had injury to my C1 and C2. That allowed me to step into fully consciously healing. And I'm happy I was aware of what those modalities were prior to my injury, because that allowed me to be healed fully. And from everything from cranial sacral to energy work to physical therapy to non-force chiropractic to coaching. I mean, I did it all. And then what I did was I went and studied with Dr. Joseph Dispenza, and I started learning about the brain and nervous system. And I started learning, you know, why we see and about the amygdala and what that is, and the fight or flight mode, and, you know, our right brain versus our left brain. And I started to become aware that these simple tools I can create for kids from my knowledge, wisdom, and experience can lead to ease and grace in the dance industry. And that's where I am currently today. So from 2009 to currently right now, I have developed programs for dancers, for dance teachers, for dance parents. And you don't have to be a dancer to be in my programs. However, my passion with dance and the love that it gave me and the love I had for it, this really allows individuals to do it with ease and grace.
I love that. So your passion comes through in the dance is catered towards dance, but there's such simple tools that anybody could utilize them.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. So our stories are sort of similar because, you know, I had the accident too and broke my neck, so I always say you're like me and we chose the energetic 2x4 method of awakening.
Boom!
Yeah. That's when you hope you're a quick learner, right?
Yes.
I only need to learn the lesson once. What about you?
Once.
I was smacked once and right on my path. And same as you, like exploring and learning everything's energy, and so much has to do with our points of view. And our tools, once we start to get unstuck and out of our ego of why me or what, you know, whatever those thoughts, feelings, or emotions we have going on, is not to create that as our reality.
Absolutely.
To realize that that's a reaction to something that's going on, and a lot of times a choice of how long we want to play with those energies, or if we want to take a different point of view and shift to start to receive more.
I had a lot of questions during that period of time. You know, oh, Gina, you're looking at it as a gift. Your perspective is that this has brought you clarity, and you know, why aren't you fighting back or suing the Rockettes, you know, for this? concussion. They didn't have a concussion policy. So I was kind of like this guinea pig a little bit, So for me, it had to do with energy. What felt light for me? It felt really heavy to go into that pushing and shoving and fighting mode, when for me, it woke me up. It woke me up to where I am now. I mean, I'm living a purposeful life. My body feels so good. At the time, my body was like, girl, what are you doing? And I couldn't hear it. So I needed something loud.
I love that too, because so many of us we get so stuck in our mind that we completely forget our body.
Oh, yes.
Or to even tap into it. So much, there's a lot of survivors out there. There is people that have survived, mental abuse, whether we're pushing our body further than it's meant to go. And, some of the industries are like that, being a dancer, where you're really pushing your body almost beyond its limits to create what the idea of the ego says it has to be, or what an external person says it has to be. But, also so many different layers of physical abuse, sexual abuse, just all different kinds of things happen to us. And it's the body, too, that a lot of that's present with. So I love the way you took the point of view instead of creating what's light and heavy, that's such a huge tool, because you would have drug out and almost been not grateful for what happened to you. I'm really grateful for what happened to me too. I'm so grateful I had that 2x4, because it led me to where I am now. And when you talk about the purposeful life, it's that, just living every day with gratitude, and I'm so grateful how I got here. And that's amazing. The points of views are so important, or so critical and vital to how we're creating our reality.
Absolutely. Growing up as a dancer, I had a lot of point of views. I thought I had to do it like the girl next to me. I thought I had to have my splits if I was to succeed. I thought I had to build my resume so I would be worthy. I thought I had to look a certain way or be a certain way. I thought there was a right and a wrong way to do it. And I thought I couldn't go to the bathroom during ballet class. I had to wait till class was over. And these belief systems that I carried, it led my body to go into what I call injury in all levels of being. So mentally injured, emotionally injured, spiritually injured, physically injured, because my mind and body were disconnected. And now that I know what that feels like to be in alignment, mind, body, soul, this becomes, my priority in what I choose to listen to first. And then I get to make choices from that place. As simple as, body, what do you want to wear today for the interview?
Yes.
It's simple, and my body wanted to wear this. And
good choice. You look beautiful.
Thank you. And it creates simplicity in life, because I'm honoring my body. I'm listening to my body, which is, I get to hear the God within me so much clearer.
And I love that, because I do believe we're given all the, all the tools we need to create and to be creators ourselves by creator. So when you start to utilize your body and not just push it to where your mind thinks it has to go based off ego, it's such a different level of communion and co-creation that it's exponential, the different level of receiving you go to when it is a co-creation like that, rather than something you're dragging along. Or I used to always say I was on this first path, trip of enlightenment, and just dragging, it behind. And, like I said, in that constant injured mode, or that fight or flight mode all the time, where it's just like, we don't have time to feel that pain now, let's go. Or, don't have time to deal with that trauma now, let's go. And allowing all those intensities to build in a body really gets you to a space where you're not receiving, and your body's not receiving. And if we are receiving, it's what maybe 10% of what we're thinking. And my rule is, if you're thinking, you're stinking. If you're in your head space, you're not in your heart space. So I always tell my clients, whenever they want to react to something, where is that coming from? Is it coming from here? Is it coming from here? Because a lot of times when it comes from here, that's what's going to create what's light from you, and light for you. And that's just a simple tool. What's light and heavy. I love that you shared that story too.
Thank you.
So tell me about some of your public speaking engagements. I know you travel around the world. I know when we met, you were on a adventure to Australia to do a conference there. And so tell me some about the adventures you get to go on.
Well, travel is one of my passions. So in co-creating with my purpose, travel shows up, which is really beautiful.
How's it get better than that?
How's it get better than that?
Have some of that.
And Australia was the first opportunity I had to travel internationally and be given this invitation to speak at a women's retreat. And I shared my story, not the one that you just heard, the one about my scoliosis and my spine. And that led me into dancing. So I danced as I actually spoke to the audience, and then I gave them ways to become present with themselves, like 10 steps to become present with themselves. And then from there, I kind of was putting out there, I wanted to speak more, and then I was traveled to Colorado to speak for an arts foundation, and it was a benefit, and it was a great opportunity, and a wonderful way for me to share my message and my gifts with arts people who participate in the arts, who want to give to the arts. It was a fundraiser. And then I booked a job with Velocity Dance Convention. And it's a 21 city tour that we just did this past season. And every weekend I did seminars for dance parents and dance teachers. And we have our nationals coming up this July, actually here in Las Vegas.
Yay! Wow, all the traveling must be exciting, but probably exhausting too.
Yes, I have learned what my body needs and how to travel with ease and grace. And it's been a wonderful adventure this year to learn, because next season I have more tools, I have more ways, more approaches to keep my body living in that space of comfort and excitement.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Because, the field of dance, too, and a lot of them is so much about passion and drive. And if you get into the point where it's a lot of work, I think is when it starts to become heavy. But it seems like if you connect with your body in ways to create what's light for you, not based off external of this is like competition or comparison or judgment. So all of that's judgment. So when we step out of judgment of ourselves and our bodies and of other people, it's such a light space to play in. Have you noticed that, like with these tools, learning, to step out of judgment of yourself? I mean, because we're so unkind to ourselves, we seem to be our harshest judge.
Yeah, there was a period of time that I lived in that state a lot, especially being a dancer, comparing, contrasting, judgment, expectations, resisting. I'm sure all you dancers listening, or fellow friends or individuals, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Jealousy, envy, all of these energies. And now I left the dance industry for about 3-4 years, kind of to begin my self-transformational journey. I lived in Italy. I went there for a long time, and I wanted to process what I was experiencing in life, and I chose that on purpose. And when I kind of awoke from that journey, it's when dance started to be present again in my life. My soul is called to move and to dance. Music starts, and my free dance, I connect with Source. It's my medicine, and it's also my way of connecting. And now that I have tools to clear my judgment and my expectations and my resistance and my compare and contrast, it allows me to be present with me, first and foremost, in who I am, be in my nature, and then be present with all of these beautiful, blessed beings I get to be around, and I get to be in the dance industry, being in my nature.
In your passion.
In my passion.
And creating in it. It's like you found a whole new way to create.
Oh, yes.
That's really, so you took your passion and your drive and you actually turned it into, these programs to be able to share your wisdom and experience with other people that are there now to create with ease. It's like, I almost feel like sometimes I chose the energetic 2x4 method of awakening.
Yes.
So we can allow what we learned and what we experienced and offer these tools to the next generation to start to create even younger. And I love the way you say connected to Source, because I really do believe that. I mean, when you're at this certain vibration and this passion and this, what it is, it's this connection to the creative flow. And it's not even work. It's like it's just coming in, whether it's movement or art or writing, or just you see these people in this creative flow, and they're just creating with such ease, and the magic that they're creating is just so beautiful.
Yeah, it shows up, and right now it's showing up at this fast pace where I'm being, called in to dance again, or choreograph, or create a show, co-create a show, and really using these creative gifts that God's given me Now, on that same journey, I'm learning how to honor my body and honor Gina first. Love thyself first. Well, what does that mean? And right now in this, this current day, I am reflecting and doing that, living that.
I love that. Especially when you start to use the tools. This is something we don't talk about often, but when you start to get in this zone of receiving, it does happen so fast. And you know me, I'm a creator.
Yes, you are. A quick creator, by the way.
I am a quick creator. It does. It just seems like, I think about it and all of a sudden I'm aligned and it just unfolds for its creation with ease. And I'm working on a center now with some amazing beings. I feel like I found my dream place, my dream space, and my dream team. So it's going to be called the Las Vegas Enlightenment Center. And it's just creating a conscious community for people to come together and share these tools like that, or where they're coming from, or so everybody can be off of these different points of views and perspectives to collaborate and co-create. Like the place where I say there's no weird, only wonderful. A place for a lot of the people when they're just stepping into, especially energy work. Nowadays, it seems like you have the people that really know and understand it, and then the ones that are completely against it, and some of the ones that are in between, like, what is that woohoo stuff? What's going on over there? And it seems like even the doubters look after a while and are so intrigued by the changes in your life or the space or the presence that you be, that they're just drawn in naturally to be inquisitive as to what is it you're doing in your life now? What is it that's so different? How are you creating this? So it's almost that space for people to come together and talk about that, and explain what tools that they utilize so people can build their toolbox to create the reality they truly desire rather than resisting and reacting to this one.
I have kids build their Mary Poppins bag.
Oh, I love it. Tell me about that.
One of my students called me Mary Poppins once, and when I started to become aware of the name, I thought, oh, I love Mary Poppins. She's got a tool for everything, and that's what I want. I want to be able to have a tool for anything in my life. I want to be able to handle things. I want to be able to clear myself. I want to be able to listen to my body. I love, this little tool bag. Growing up, my dad always had a toolbox or a tool bag around because he did carpentry. He was building things all the time, him and my grandpa. And I loved that. I love this idea of, here's your toolbox, and what do you need in it? So I like building Mary Poppins bags. And I had one of my 10-year-old clients. She said, Miss Gina, she says, what does conscious mean? And I love it. They're so curious, and they just want to know until they have clarity. And I always say, ask until you can receive the clarity that you need, or at least ask the question. And I said, conscious is just being aware of what is right now. What are you sitting? How are you sitting? How are you walking? How are you speaking? What words are you choosing? What thoughts are you thinking? And what color dress, am I wearing right now? And we went through this whole fun thing of just kind of naming what's present, is what I call it. And she goes, I get what conscious is now, and I like it.
Oh, I love it. The kids seem to catch on so fast. They have so much.
Quick.
Yes, so quick. Less baggage. Some of us as we go through life, can accumulate, so we have more to clear. But the kids are just are coming in are so phenomenal. It's like this next level of being, and they're so aware, and there's such a contribution. And you never know the things they're going to create, because I really feel like this next generation is going to outcreate anything we've seen before.
Yeah, they're individualistic. They want to know who they are. They want to know what their gifts are. They want to focus on their bodies and their minds, and I love that. And working from ages, and in the dance industry anyways, I don't work under 8, so I work 8 and, say to 18, and then I do work with adults and older, but the thing I'm learning is the teenagers are definitely in a instant gratification mode, where they're more community-based, and they want to be with other people. In turn, though, they're comparing and contrasting and feeling, like maybe I'm not good enough because she's there, he's there, where this, generation from 12 and under, they're getting individualistic. They're kind of like, who am I? How do I move? How, what colors do I like? And it's fun. It's fun to see. the
they
different
seem a lot more-
generations.
Yes, it is. And see that level we were just talking about with the teens. I mean, I get to work with teens too, and I do work with little ones too. I don't know what it is. I'm so drawn to the little ones too. There's just, I don't know what that is. I do know what it is. It's just, I can't help it.
That's who you are.
It's who I am. I've come to realize that I've been told that a lot, like a strong maternal instinct, and I've just had that from before I even had kids.
I feel that from you.
Yeah, I'm like the mother, I'm like, oh, come here, honey, everything's gonna be okay,
Yes.
and embrace with the hug. But I don't know, the level they're communicating. That's why I'm excited about this space to start different programs, whether it's meditation or these groups for them to get together to realize that they're all in their heads. And they're all doing that, like thinking, stinking. And when they come together and start to co-create, they can realize, wow, because a lot of my clients that are in that teenage, I'll talk about feeling lonely.
Yes.
Like no one understands me.
Yes.
Like I'm just, there's so much judgment there that they have for themselves that it makes me so sad in my heart, And when we come out of that and I get them to see, different points of view or perspective of how unique they are. I mean, there's only one of you in the entire world, and that applies to everyone out. There's only one of you. How magical is that? How magical is that? So there is no competition. The only competition you have in your life is you.
Absolutely.
So where are you living your life and you're receiving that's keeping you doing competition instead of creation? So anything that doesn't allow you to step into that. These are the tools that we're talking about, to have these tools to step out of, competition into creation. I like this word that I came up with because, a lot of there's cooperation and competition. So I was like, let's do cooperation where we all still have businesses and we're entrepreneurs, but we all support ourselves in this community and cooperative way. To me, that's so light. So light.
It feels good to co-create. It feels light to be able to say, wow, hey Minette, I love the way that you move and create. Let's create something together. That feels light. For me right now, that feels light. I love being in the co-creative process with friends, with people. I'm co-creating a show with my friend Alex currently, with my intimate loving partner David. Like, I love being in this co-creative space, co-creating with spirit. It's fun.
It is.
And there isn't a feeling of loneliness.
Not for me either. I don't. I don't know. I don't feel that.
Yeah, I felt that a lot growing up.
Yes.
I felt that a lot growing up as a dancer. And I think because I was living in that judgment and that compare and contrast mode, it's lonely, where I felt like I was this, soloist, and I had to separate myself, and because of whatever the energy was that I was feeling so young, and being sensitive to energy at a young age. I work with a lot of empaths because they're attracted to me because they're mirroring who I was and who I am.
Yes.
And that's been a beautiful blessing to help. I remember helping a 9-year-old in South Carolina. She would get so nervous before stage, and she would run to the bathroom. And I said, girl, what are you running to the bathroom for? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, you're going to hide, aren't you? That energy backstage is so crazy, isn't it? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, what would it be like if you knew how to clear it? And you could be backstage in the energy and it wouldn't affect you. She said, that would be really great. But people were thinking she had anxiety and that she was a nervous kid, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and what's funny, once someone sees them and is present with them and gets them to change their point of view or offers them a tool, how quick their life can change.
It changed like that.
Fast.
The mom messaged me the next day after that session, and she said, Gina, already it's shifting, because there were some girls around her that ended up maybe picking on her or bullying her, and she said she used the clearing that I gave her, and it was gone.
Oh. How does it get any better than that?
How does it get any better than 9 years old? I would have loved that tool at 9.
I know. I am so grateful I learned them in this lifetime. I'm telling you.
Me too.
How's it getting better than that?
Yes.
Yeah, working with kids is amazing. They shift so quick. And they really seem to get it so fast. And, even if you're older, it took me a little bit, but once I got it, you get it. And everybody gets it at a different pace or a different speed. But I think for me, it's not being stuck. It's as simple as asking a question, is realizing, hey, right now I'm doing anger, or I'm doing sadness, or I'm doing jealousy or competition, whatever it is, and say, wow, is this something I want to continue to be choosing? And then, if it is, fantastic. Don't beat yourself up about it. But maybe set a timer and say, okay, maybe I'm willing to do this for another 10 minutes, and then see what I want to choose then. Because it kind of empowers us to know a lot of what we're creating is choice.
Yes.
And
there's a fun exercise. May I offer that
Yes, please.
to you and the audience? It's fun with kids, but it's really fun with adults, is where you allow them to, in their body or in their facial expression, create the emotion that you say. So it'd be like sadness, and so they feel in their body, or like whatever they do. I'm like, so how does that feel? What's that feel like? Is this something you want to choose daily? And then give them another emotion, and they're happy, or, and whatever they feel that emotion is, without telling them what to do. It's like, sometimes these kids are like happy, or and it gives them this opportunity to feel it in their body and in their facial expression to decide, okay, is this what I want to choose? Is this the feeling I want to choose daily? Is this what I am choosing? Because I think sometimes I didn't learn that.
Yeah.
Only if there was a situation that caused me to feel a certain way did I ever feel it. But with kids, they're not experiencing all these different emotions like we are as adults. So to give them that opportunity to play and have fun.
Yeah.
And then they can go, oh, this doesn't feel very good. Okay, cool. What's another choice? How about this? And they get to, in their bodies, feel it. Embodiment for me is been my life.
Yes.
But embodiment, Lynn Simonson taught me, my mentor, Simonson technique. It's a somatic dance approach to movement. And that's when I learned embodiment. And then my coaching program that I'm certified in, that's really our way of approaching people, is getting them to embody what they're feeling or expressing or wanting to create, and that where they could feel it and know, oh, this feels light or this feels heavy. It's a full body experience.
No, I love that. I do a similar exercise with kids too, and even because when we talk about energy, because internal energy, for me, I realize everything's energy, and when I can get people to realize that, it's a little bit of a shift of something you can manage, not something that's happening to you.
Yes.
It's something that you can create, and you can shift when you're aware of it. So I know I'll do the same thing. What does anger look like, and where do you feel that in your body? And it's so amazing when they point, I feel it here, or love, I feel that here, or and how they're so you feel energy. I do. And their faces just light up. Yeah. And then, kind of stepping into the next step is that, okay, so now you're feeling it. Now let's fine tune that sense, especially with empaths, because they're so, I didn't know this when I was little. I was chronically ill. I didn't know I was picking up all the emotions of everyone around me. When it was, if I was angry, I thought it was just my anger. If I was sad, I thought it was just my sadness. I was unaware because I wasn't around anybody that was like that, or that verbalized those words, or explained anything to me of that's what it was. And then when I got those tools to realize, wow, when I feel something, this anger, this sadness, to just even stop and say right away, is this mine? No, return to sender. Oh my goodness. Chronic migraine stopped, my ulcers healed. It was a completely different life for me, because other people's emotions were so strong. And since I was feeling it, I always thought they were mine.
Yeah. Me too.
And now fine-tuning them as another sense, like our sense of vision, our sense of smell, our sense of taste. Now instead of feeling, if we can use it as a sense, it also actually gets us before we're at the effect of it. I sense that anger over there. I sense that sadness over there. And your body's like, oh, that's over there. Great. I don't have to,
take it on.
To do that and feel it, to be able to shift it. So, yeah kids are, just these tools are amazing to create difference in anyone's life, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
Simple as asking a question. What's my favorite one, Gina? My favorite question I ask all the time: how
does it get any better?
How does it get any better than this? That's anyone who's around me knows I say
how
that.
Does it get any better than this?
All the time.
It's your favorite text too.
It really is, because to me that just keeps you in receiving mode all the time. Like someone's like, this happened. I'm like, fantastic. How's it getting better than that? And it's just put me in this level of receiving where my family's actually been like, Mom, can you say that a little less? Because stuff's shifting really fast. But now I realize no, because I have this rocket ship of awesomeness that's creating, and I'm in full creation mode, and I love it. And I think it's really inspiring them to know that you can change your life too.
Oh, yes. Leading by example is the example. My words and my actions, yes. Are they both actions? Yes. Words are actions, and actions are actions. However, there is I always was looking for a mentor and an example, because that gave me possibility growing up. And when I didn't see, or maybe I wasn't looking in the right so-called places, I wanted to become the example for these young, especially these young girls and these young dancers, to have an example. And if they feel I'm a contribution to them, but I wanted to be that living example. And I remember a mentor of mine, Jean, she said, Gina, just lead by example. Just remember that, because you do. Your presence, you just lead by example. You really don't have to say much. And I thought, that's nice.
How's getting better?
Even though I like to talk.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
No, that is true, though. It is, because you become such a different vibration when you're leading and when you're doing what you love, you know.
Yes.
They say there's lead that follow and those who just want to step out of the way. But when you're in that leadership mode, I mean, you do pull forward and you do create with such ease, with passion and heart. And that vibration is so magnetic and so charismatic that you become this inspiration and invitation to other people around you, like, wow, what is she doing? How can I have some of that, you know?
Yeah, it's beautiful to share. I love sharing.
I do too.
And if I am not in my nature and in alignment, mind, body, soul, I'm unable to share. Because at that place, I'm sharing from a place of lack. And it's really important to me. My students used to ask me, Miss Gina, how do you come in positive all the time, and your hair looks good, and you're just so perfect? I said, well, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I do what I need to do for myself to be able to show up, not just for you, but for me.
Yeah.
And I said, I love you, and I also love me. And if I just love you, you're not going to get what you see today.
Yes.
I don't know if you really want to see that side of me.
You're like, I don't think I do.
And it's fun, you know, to be asked those questions, so you can kind of check in with yourself, which is why I love kids, because they're curious.
Oh yeah, they're like sponges.
So curious. They want to learn. They want to know. They're like, what is that? And at a young age, I had the gift of presence on stage. That was my gift. I was so spiritually connected. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do with it because I didn't have anyone helping me understand what that gift was.
Yes.
And then there was a time I kind of pushed it under my bed, and
because it's just a
in my
different energy.
closet.
So you're like, I don't know what to do with this energy right now.
You know, I don't know what to do with it. It's not being received. And I want every young girl with that same gift as a dancer to be able to just live it and show it and never hide it and be who they
embrace
are.
It,
be it,
yes.
embrace it, shine it, whatever you want to say. I want that young girl to feel like she can be who
Yes.
she is all the time.
Yes.
And have it be received.
And that is so important nowadays, because so many people are not choosing to receive. And even the ones that give from their heart till there's nothing left to give, and like you say, come from that place of lack or emptiness, because they've just spent their whole day giving, but they're not receiving. So it's that empty tank.
I had a coach once ask me, Gina, where do you feel your gifts can be received? Because what I want to name for you is you're sharing your gifts in areas in which they're not being received. So what are you choosing? And I really reflected on that question, because at the time when I just started coaching and I was teaching dance, I never had thought about where is it my gifts can be received. And I was choosing places that were unable to receive my gifts because we were out of alignment. Our visions were different. And now that becomes important for me in where I'm choosing to share my gifts, and even the clients that I feel can be a contribution to me and I a contribution to them, even in friendship. That question has really helped me a lot in my everyday life. If I am going to dance, okay, will it be received in this venue or in this platform? If somebody asks me to be their coach, will my coaching be received for them? And can I destroy and uncreate them receiving it? Absolutely. But there's this pleasure I get now in going, yes, this is where my gifts can be received. Velocity Dance Convention, my gifts are being received. I get to show up. But not every convention will be able to receive my gifts.
Yes.
So that alignment, it has become a really important question in my everyday life.
It is. And it is an important question. And what I like, too, is that you're still, I think, kind of pushing the bounds on that sometimes, because if you can still continue to be, regardless of how anyone else receives it, I think is when you've hit a point of creation that is just beyond anything I thought was possible in this reality, you know, because there's going to be someone out there that can receive it. And even in that whole convention, you changed 2 lives.
Oh, yes.
Out of the 1,000 that didn't. I mean, that to me, that's phenomenal.
Yes.
And not to have any judgment about yourself about how someone else received it. And that's so, I didn't live my life like that, you know, the first 3/4 of it, you know, because it was about, you know, well, could people receive the level of love I'm capable of giving? Could people receive the level of kindness or my energy? You know, it's a lot. So I took it very personally when people couldn't. And now I realize, wow, I'm just going to be me regardless of how anyone else receives that. And it's been so phenomenal to step out of judgment like that. It's life-changing. Life-changing. It's amazing how much judgment we do on ourselves daily.
Yep. That's why clearing those judgments.
Stuck in that. It's so, and into
those
even,
lies.
Yes, and to even realize you're doing judgment. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, to even stay, whoa, oh my goodness, I'm just totally tearing myself apart. You know, let's build myself up. I mean, how can you create if you're constantly tearing yourself down or comparing and judging? It makes it very hard. It makes it very heavy. When we're talking about light and heavy,
yes.
And that's how you create a lot of heaviness in your life. But if you start to clear that, it could be that vibration of love. I mean, I have a friend that went to Guatemala, and she said, I could not believe it. They live on dirt floors. They have corrugated aluminum. They have the chickens running in and out. She goes, and they are the happiest people you've ever seen. And I truly believe that, because happiness comes from within.
Absolutely.
It comes from within. So, you know, what can we choose to create by shifting our points of views and levels of receiving that can outcreate anything we thought was possible for our reality and our creation?
Traveling for me helped me see a lot of possibilities and a lot of different points of view and perspectives, and that allowed me to see different parts of me and different perspectives I had on myself. And a trip that I took to Italy, I was called to Italy to go teach in a very small town, and they were the happiest people I'd ever met, living a simple life. And I remember waking up going, the egg from the chicken in the yard is making me happy. Not making me happy. It's creating this joy.
Yeah, it's contributing.
And it's contributing to me. And I'm like, wow. And the family inviting me over for lunch. Gosh, that feeling I had and that sense of receiving and welcoming an invitation lit me up. And then walking and smelling the flowers, because in Italy, those flowers, those roses.
Wow.
Talk about sense of smell. I would really stop and smell the roses on my way walking to teach fitness, and I would stop and stare at the sun and take it in and receive it, and then go teach. And people would comment, you look so happy.
I love that. And even what you were talking about, like with the co-creating or having everything contribute to you, or having that space, you know, of that, that's what I feel like I'm hoping the center will create.
It will.
That space. And now I can feel that creative, conscious community of people to just come together and share tools and gifts and, you know, find what resonates with them to create the life they truly desire.
Yeah.
I know you. And tell me, you said you have another program coming up here soon, right?
Woo,
Tell me about that.
So I have a 10-month coaching residency program for Dance Studios coming it's starting next month, because 2 studios have already signed on for it. And it is a 10-month residency program where they get me 3 times live in person, and then children from 8 to 10 and then 11 to 18, they get me 30 classes via online live. And then dance parents and dance teachers are also getting me 15 classes for that 10-month period. And we're all going through the same modules. So the modules are going to be creating a conscious relationship, learning about teamwork, learning about trust, building trust. I'm taking them through, you know, how to, you know, build a conscious relationship with yourself and others. And then we go into vision, the vision of you, which is who you are. You're in the center. What lights you up? What do you like? What don't you like? What are your strengths? What are your, you know, skills? How do you identify yourself? This is really fun creation of the vision of you, I discovered. And then it bridges into balance and strategy. Balance and support. So balance being, okay, what areas of your life light you up, and where is the wheel kind of like this a little bit?
Yeah.
And let's just see how we're riding. This is our one precious vehicle we get, our bodies. And then support, I love doing that because it shows, okay, what support do I have? What are my resources? And what's the purpose of those resources and support?
Kind of getting clarity.
It's super clear. Clear on you, clear on what conscious living is, clear on the support and resources that you do have. You're not alone, and the purpose of them is super important. So if I have a friend named Minette, because I do, and it's like, okay, so what is the purpose? What is her contribution to me in my life? So when I'm looking at that support grid and I may need that contribution, I can call you. So that really helps kids and everybody. It helped me be very clear about the purpose of the support and resources I had in my life. And then balance is fun because, it's like sometimes our left wheel is a little lagging and we are not sure why. We got to fill it up with air, but what air do we fill it up? So this gives you an idea of, okay, my spiritual life is kind of falling. I feel that in the left side of my body. So what's there? Oh, going and writing a letter to God. Oh, cool. I'm going to go do that today to kind of fill up, get the gas I need.
I love that. I do something similar too, and it's so neat because it's just an idea to try to find out where it's out of balance.
Yeah.
And that way you can address that first, and start to work on that to start to create the greatest amount of balance with ease.
I mean, our physical body tells us. And if we're listening, we have a right side pain or a left side pain, it really does give us those inklings of, the left side of my vehicle right now is telling me something like, hey, body, what message do you have for me today? And it's like, I need a hug from your friend Minette. Okay, great. Whatever it is, I love listening to the messages, not just within myself and my being, but around me.
I know even just stopping how crucial it is or how potent it is just to stop and say, hi, body.
Yeah.
Hi, body. Oh, hi. It's just that, oh, wow. Hey, there you are, best friend. What can we create together? So for anybody that wants to reach out and create with you, let's give them some information of how to find you and how they can play.
Sure. GinaPiro.com, GINAPERO.com. You can go to my website, sign up for my free weekly tips and fun things. The attention span right now is 8 seconds, so all my tips are 8 seconds and smaller. And they're fun, and they're insightful and encouraging. And you can also find me on Facebook at Gina Piro, GINAPERO, on Instagram at Gina J. Piro. I have my own podcast show called The Gina Piro Show, Living Life Full Out. You can get that on iTunes. And all of this information is on my website, so that would be the best way to go there because everything is there that you need to know. And feel free. I encourage you. I invite you to email me or message me or say hi or friend me. I really invite you into that space of co-creation with me.
She's fun to play with. She really is. And that's neat too. And her podcast, I mean, that's something that she has archived there that you can find all these amazing shows. Talk about some of the types of guests you have on your show.
Ooh, well, I've had Minette. I've had the pleasure of you being on my show. I've had skin gurus, hair experts. I've had professional dancers from around the world. I've had choreographers come on and talk. I've had, I just last month was Mental Health Awareness Month. So I had Dr. Barbara Fritz on talking about mental health, perfectionism, mindfulness, interpersonal relationships. A month I did on cancer, so people affected by cancer or affected by someone who has had cancer. And coming up, there's a theme for every month coming up. So every month I'll have a theme. And my 1-year anniversary is coming up on June 21st.
Oh, that's phenomenal. How does it get any better than that? How does it get any better than that?
What else is possible?
Exactly. For receiving beyond anything I thought was possible in creation.
Yes.
I love that. This has been an amazing show, and I want to thank you so much from my heart for coming to play. And I know we'll get to play more because we always do.
Yes.
We find that time. And I want to talk a little bit about, different programs for different. So if you don't know where to start, she just offered you an amazing website you can go or podcasts you can listen to. But, start to ask yourself what's light, or if you're drawn to someone for a reason and you resonate with them, maybe that's for a reason. Then maybe that's your body telling you, hey, this person has a tool maybe that they can offer to help me create more lightness in my life.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's so many amazing people out there, but remember, there's no one external that's more powerful than you. So your point of view and your level of receiving is what will really shift your life, into creating the reality you truly desire with ease and joy.
Yeah.
And, I've got a website too, internalenergies.com, and I'm opening the new Las Vegas Enlightenment Center. That's going to be amazing. Yes, I'm so excited. The people that are showing up to play and create there. The classes are are just classes, I think, where they're creating things that haven't been created before. So how does it get any better than that? So that the website for that is LV Enlightenment Center, or you can just Google Las Vegas Enlightenment Center and look at the classes there. On Facebook, I'm Minette Internal Energist, and there's links to all my good stuff there. And I have coaching programs and all kinds of amazing things as well. And I think I'm really stepping into the consciousness facilitator role. Is what I'm doing, is to help people attain a greater level of consciousness in their life and realize where they're stuck, or just offer tools that maybe you can use them to create something you might not have thought you could create with that tool before. So everybody's stepping into their gifts and their magic, that their is what's really going to shift this world. So thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for playing with us today, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Many blessings, everybody.